Hey, it's Ryan with QLZ, and we're in the green room, and I have to thank Sasha and Andrey of Major Moment because you're both like, hey, we're in a green room. We need to change the lights. It was, I think, purple when you guys came on. And you were like, should we change this to green? So thank you for doing that.
That's right.
Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And like I told both of you, I said the Artist Spotlight, it's a feature we do here on new bands and independent bands, a lot up and coming bands and groups we really just want to share because, again, there's a lot of music out there. So you guys have a song called Toxic. And I never knew who you guys were before this, which is the cool thing working in radio because people are like, hey, here's this band. Then you find out that they have more music and you kind of go down the rabbit hole with everything. But Toxic is the single that's out right now. Artist Spotlights. It's going to be on Tuesday, the 23rd. So 8:30 for us, 9:30 for both of you. And for a couple things for our QLZ audience out there doing research was, one, you're not covering Britney Spears for this, in case anybody's wondering. And two, the song kind of was initially inspired by a fan that went a little bit too far demanding music from the band.
Well, we wouldn't even call him a fan, to be honest with you. It's probably just to call him a follower on social media. He's been following us because we think a fan or, supporter, a listener is somebody who's out there to support the band, to cheer for them, that's also impatiently waiting for new music. Just like we are, we're dying to release new stuff, as much as we can, but without compromising on quality. And we gotta do a lot of things, wear a lot of hats as independent musicians. So you can imagine, it takes longer than we'd hoped for. But that follower on social media, he was basically like, "Do you have any other songs except that one you just released 3 days ago?" I'm like, "Yeah." Just give us a little bit of time. Like we're still going through the process of hyping it up, and like making sure everybody heard it because, as you know, like social media algorithms, they're not the most friendly towards musicians and independent musicians that don't have huge budgets or like backing from major labels and whatnot.
And to be honest, the fund had a very good response from our listeners. So we did something interesting and released an extended EP.
Okay.
With like multiple remixes and instrumental version. There's like, how many tracks?
There's like 14 tracks. So we wanted to take, since that at the time that was our most successful track, we wanted to really take the listener kind of behind the scenes and expand on the track and our vision behind it. We collaborated with a bunch of friends who were awesome to, kind of provide their takes on it via remixes. We have like 6 or 7 remixes on that extended album. And then we wanted to include our home demo, so like one of the core missions of Major Moment as a band is to inspire other artists and creators to kind of get away from that like imposter syndrome, and like being so insecure about their art. And we wanted to show that, hey, listen, like that song didn't start like you are hearing it right now. Like maybe you think like everything just comes out great and polished and, it's just everything is amazing. But we decided on purpose to include that very rough demo that we started with. Obviously there are similarities and there are differences compared to the finished product, and we wanted to showcase that. But it's not it's not a thing for everybody. I guess not everybody is interested, and that's totally fine. Some people just want to consume track after track after track, single after single, and whenever we can, we're gonna be following that pace as well. Like we just released Toxic on April 26th, and we already have a new single coming called Overcome the next month on June, in June.
Yeah, I know you guys had posted that on Facebook, I believe yesterday, looking stuff up was, hey, here's 4 tracks. I believe The Flood was one of them. Like, hey, we have, 10 songs you guys haven't heard yet. So do you want to release, a full-length record? Is that kind of what you all want to do? Again, it's an interesting world where some bands are like, let's do an EP, and some are like, let's just do a single and focus on that song, do a video on it, and then just give it all the love and attention that it needs, and some are like, nope, I still want albums. So what do you as a band want to release with this music, or kind of how do you want to get it out there?
Well, still, this time we decided to go single after single, and we're gonna release and focus on each song individually for like 8 weeks approximately.
Okay.
And so at the end, it's gonna be a full album, and whoever doesn't want to wait for it, we have vinyls and we have CDs, different types, different colors of vinyl. You're welcome to check out on our merch page.
Yeah, so
And we decided to release it much earlier than on streaming platforms.
Okay, cool.
Right, kind of elaborating on what the question was. This time we decided to cater to both worlds. Like you mentioned, there are people who prefer strictly singles. You know, it's easier for them to listen to music like this. You know, we have shorter attention spans nowadays compared to what it was like 20, 30 years ago, right? When, you know, it was a big deal. You go to the store and you wait there before the release, you know, and you're hoping that they have enough copies left, right?
I still love going to the record store, by the way. Still love that. So.
I don't think we have many left.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's not many left. I still cherish those memories, like when I first discovered like Virgin Megastore in New York, Times Square. That was mind-blowing to me. I've never seen anything like that before, you know, and that was just like a kid in the candy store, you know. So like and then they started closing one after another. It just, you know, it's sad, but I guess that's the way, you know, that's the direction we're moving into. You know, it's a different consumption trends and, you know, different mediums and all of that. So we decided that we're gonna have singles, like Sasha mentioned, you know, released apart from each other, like every 2 months or something, you know, every 6 weeks to 8 weeks. And then we also have an option of, you know, our listeners supporting us by picking up vinyl that we worked so hard on creating. And, you know, for any independent band, it's a big leap of faith to invest so much money into production, because it's far from cheap.
Yeah,
and then we have CDs.
That's something that we always wanted to do. So this is a perfect time and a perfect album, I think, to do it.
And vinyl has made such a massive comeback. Like I used to have a record player. I don't anymore. I'm still finding myself buying, like if I find a band that I'm like, I love this album, I have it on CD. I have everything in my car. I have it on my iPod, but I still need it on vinyl. So there's still that aspect of like wanting to physically own something as well.
For sure. We collaborated with an amazing visual artist, Kevin Moore from Soft Surrogate. Kevin is well known in like metal rock music world as a designer, for example, of the Spirit Box album art, and of Mice and Men and Dance Gavin Dance. There are many to name. There, you know, once we saw his work, we're blown away, and we're like, we gotta, you know. It's a
I
stretch.
honestly didn't expect that he's gonna reply, but he did.
Right, it's a stretch. We have to reach out to this guy and see what he says. And amazingly, he responded like almost right away, and like he said, "Hey guys, like this, you know, the album you showed me." We sent him some rough demos too, you know, before they were even mixed or mastered. He's like, I see where you're going with this. Like I'm on board. I would love to, you know, collaborate with you on, you know, designing album artwork, and we're so happy with the finished result. It's above and beyond of any of our expectations, honestly. And we wanted to, with that vinyl release and CD release, we wanted to take it one step further and give it another benefit. You know, so the benefit of picking it up would be you get to hear the album way before everybody else, way before it's out on streaming. Like we had test pressings done, and 5 people, like we had two people from Netherlands, one from Florida, one is a local from Massachusetts, and Denmark. Right. And we sent them all, so 5 people already listened to the whole album in full. And you know, for us it's super exciting. We've never done anything like this before, and I don't think many bands did. And from our perspective as artists, that's super exciting. But from my perspective as a listener and music enjoyer myself, right? Like to imagine, like I would have my favorite band's album on hands, like a year before it's out everywhere else, that's
Mhm.
amazing. Like, so we want to do like what we think we would enjoy as well as listeners.
Now, is that what you guys love as independent bands? Obviously, you know, a lot of the bands I have interviewed over the last 4 or 5 years between doing the Artist Spotlight feature, so many are independent. I mean, there's so many things you need to know how to do. If you know how to do your own production, your own producing, um, again, it's a lot of work. And I know both of you have done videos on that where, again, you know, everybody's like, why don't you just get me out a music song? Why don't you get me a music video out right now? Get me a song out right now. It's like, it's a process. It takes time. You know, when you do a radio campaign, you have to look to see when should we, again, so much music out there right now. So what do you both love about being an independent band? I know it's a ton of work, but what do you really enjoy about being independent?
That's exactly what we love about it. You know, there are some downsides, obviously, like we don't have such funding as major label artists do, and we don't have connections, you know, to like it, you know,
Get us out
editorials
there.
and like
On
streaming
more channels.
platforms to feature our song on every playlist, right? But on the other hand, we get to do like whatever we want, you know, and that's an amazing thing, because I think like, well, do we want to release a song tomorrow? We can if we want to.
Mhm.
You know, like there's nothing that's stopping us except, you know, we want to release that song with a purpose. You know, like there has to be the right time and the place. And there's one song that we've been sitting on for like over 2 years probably, that's still a part of this album. And there are some, you know, songs that we're gonna record later this year, and you know, who knows, maybe we will break that album release cycle and we'll release a brand new song that is not even the part of the album
Definitely.
before the others are out, you know.
Yeah, we
Who
want to do
knows?
vinyl. Sure, let's
Mhm.
go ahead.
Right.
This CD, that CD, anytime. Go
Yeah.
ahead. you
Like
know?
we're so hands-on with everything. Like we're like between Kevin and ourselves, like we were going back and forth with like different revisions and like different ideas. And Kevin is a professional, obviously, you know, he didn't need our input on any of that, but it was cool like to be able to kind of add our personal touch here and there, you know, because for us it's important that, you know, we as independent artists try to be as close to our listeners as possible. You know, we respond to every comment, every direct message, you know, while we can.
Definitely.
That's the beauty of it. You know, there probably going to be some time where we're just going to be too busy to do it, unfortunately. You know, but right now we just love thanking everybody for their support and hearing what they have to say.
Yeah, social media is a job in itself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. So again, man, a lot of new music coming out from the band, from both of you. We've talked full length records, and I have a question for both of you as well. It's a blog feature I used to do at my last job, and it was finding out bands' favorite complete albums of all time. From start to finish, you don't skip
All
any
right.
tracks on, so your no skip albums. And probably about a month ago, started asking bands in the actual interviews here. So for both of you, some of your favorite complete albums of all time.
I'll let Sasha respond because I already know. I already
Okay.
know what the answer is going to be, kind of.
Okay,
Meteora, Linkin Park.
awesome.
I'll go with Keen, Under the Iron Sea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick a favorite,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's definitely on top of my list. I've been a huge fan of Linkin Park my whole life, so just like Andrey.
Yeah, that's actually like
That's how we met.
That's how we met.
Okay.
It's because
Awesome.
of Linkin Park, you know, and our mutual love for the band. If not for them, you know, we would not be sitting here. We would not have a band probably,
Mhm.
That's
and
right.
you know, we wouldn't be married happily. So you know, music really unites people, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. And we're so thankful to our favorite artists for, you know, we also know that they struggled a lot.
Mhm.
You know, obviously, you know, with the tragedy with Chester, you can imagine, right? But there were some moments where their music supported millions and millions of other people during their hard times, you know, and like connected them together. And that's a wonderful thing. We're very thankful for, and we want to do the same by inspiring other people and, you know, trying to impact their life in a good way. So maybe they find somebody they love and marry them. Maybe they, decide to do something crazy and move to another country to pursue their passion like we did. And, all those things, music can do it.
Yeah, I love it. So again, major moment, the song Toxic. We're going to have our artist spotlight on the 23rd. So 8:30 Central Time for us here in the Midwest. Our Midwestern folks out east, it's going to be 9:30. And I know both of you have mentioned, you have vinyl for sale, you have CDs for sale, you have merch for sale. So where can everybody and follow along and get merch?
Right.
And all that good stuff.
So we're on all social media. We're on all social media. And then if you go to majormomentband.com, you'll find the merch that we designed and, the vinyls that we have and CDs and whatever the other
all the
cool
good
stuff. Whatever the other cool stuff we're going to come up with soon.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to have more. We already have plans.
Awesome. I love it. So again, major moment with the song Toxic. We're going to have it on the artist spotlight coming up here again on the 23rd. So Andrey and Sasha, thank you both so much for taking the time to chat, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.